Word, son. What do you do, YouTube? It's your boy, Jay Divine. All right, before we get into this video, make sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share the word, spread the links, because you know how I do. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon so you're notified every time I upload. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, man. So I want to talk about the Michigan interception by the Michigan DB on the college football gameplay deep dive. And I want to talk about a similar situation that I had in Madden one time. So let me just preface this by saying I like the abilities that the college football has, but this is what concerns me a little bit. So here's a few takeaways. Now, if we are looking at the college football 25 with the Michigan DB, we don't know if that's a flat or we don't know if he's running man. One could probably argue and say that he's running man based off of how you followed him. You could probably say that he's running a zone concept. Who knows? But let's just use both for a second here, right? Because either way, a play was going to get made regardless because he played it like he was supposed to, right? Still don't necessarily agree with the fact of how you turn and look at your guy and then he turns his back and then he turns back around because the guy pressed the button. Like, that's where the psychic thing kicks in, because it's like, how else would you know to turn around, you know what I mean, and throw and be on the lookout for the ball being picked off, you know what I'm saying? That's where the psychic thing kind of kicks in. But again, that's just gameplay, whatever, there's nothing you can really do about it. Make a better choice. But I want to look at this same situation in Madden. Now, Bradbury. Everybody knows about Bradbury. Yes, I know he has sold us plenty of times in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, but whatever. We're not here for that. He is playing the same exact way that the DB did in Michigan. Same exact thing, whether it's man or zone, whichever one. Either way, he's literally doing the same exact thing. He turns, he looks at the wide receiver, turns his back, flips back around, pretty much going in a complete circle, and then he literally dumbs out and doesn't jump the route. He's right there, but he doesn't jump the route. Now, here's my thing. In college football 25, are abilities going to make it to where your DBs aren't going to stand out? Or is it just like what they call it, a security blanket per se, to make him consistently play on those types of routes that he's breaking on? Because I don't want these abilities to become a thing where if he doesn't have this ability, out of 10 times, 3 out of maybe the 10 times or 4 out of the 10 times, he's going to actually jump a route. And that's just saying if computer is doing it. You know what I mean? Now, again, when we look at Bradbury, you say whatever you want. The only difference is between what that receiver was running and the one that's in the college football clip was that the one that Bradbury is going up against, he's running a quick out. The other one's actually running an out route. So that's probably the only thing you can probably say. Now, when it comes to abilities, if he's running a man coverage, the two abilities that will equate to ball hawk, that one ability on Madden would be one step ahead and pick artist. We'll say those two. Combine those two, you got ball hawk. Or if he's running a zone concept, if he's running a light blue coverage, then that's flat zone knockout and pick artist. So with those two being on, we'll replicate that same exact thing that the Michigan DB did. But my problem is, do we still have to have those abilities on in order for them to be able to play on these routes? Because granted, both of them did the same exact thing. They played it exceptionally well. So one isn't inept at breaking on the route and cutting it off and picking the ball off because one has an ability and one doesn't. Like, these are the questions that we really need to be asking here. Are these abilities now becoming the only way to get a DB or get a player to for sure do what he's supposed to be doing? Now, let me back this up for a second. Now, you look at college football, right? College football and NFL is two big steps, right? They play totally different, if not similar. These DBs, depending on their caliber, right, they're trained to do basic fundamentals and some intermediate things. They're trained to do these things. This is pretty much like second nature to them. So my question is, why do we need an ability to make him do something that he was already trained to do? Again, it could be a security blanket type thing where he'll consistently do it more if you throw it that way. But again, if he doesn't have that ability on, you mean to tell me that he's going to dumb out like Bradbury does, or any DB that doesn't have that ability on, he's going to dumb out like that? That's the only thing that kind of worries me. Now, some people look at that and say, oh, well, people will find excuses and people try to find a way to excuse it because, oh, it's college football. We don't want to hear no negativity. I really don't care for it, honestly. we got to be critical here for a second, because this is the same thing that we're dealing with in Madden right now, currently. If a player doesn't have a set ability, he's more or less not going to do the things that you would expect any other professional athlete to do. Not from an extreme standpoint, but just from a basic fundamental standpoint. Maybe intermediate also. But I don't want these abilities to become important to a point where if you want him to do the basic fundamental thing or an intermediate thing, that he has to have that ability on. I don't want the game to become that. But I find it funny how one is showing that if you have an ability on, this is what he'll do. The other one showing that if he doesn't have the ability, this is what he'll do. So in College Football 25, are you telling me, and again, if you can attest to this and say that, no, that's just something extra, and I'm talking about somebody who's actually played the game, actually. If y'all can attest to this and say, oh, no, even the ones without the abilities were like jumping routes and stuff. If you're telling me that College Football 25, if you're DB or you're a player, let's just keep it DBs, if your DB doesn't have an ability to jump the ball or jump the route, per se, if he doesn't have the ability to do that, he's going to probably dumb out something similar to what Bradbury just did. No matter how well you told him to cover the outside or inside or anticipate the pass, or you spotlight that player, if he doesn't have an ability on, will he still play it the same exact way? Let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. I'm going to get up out of here. Make sure you hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share the word, spread the links, because you know how I do. But I'm going to get up out of here, man. It's your boy Jay Divine, and I'm signing out. Peace.